So before we move into our meditation today, I know you probably noticed and we do have actual new visitors that are from here in Sebring, but you probably noticed that there were quite a few new visitors today. And we have the Board of Unity of Sebring and the Board of Unity of Venice in Venice, Florida, spent all day yesterday together in here, laughing, crying, eating way too much, really good food from Marta and Tina, bonding, hanging out together. Yeah, it was a wonderful day. So we're going to have some Unity of Sebring and some Unity of Venice represented here on the platform this morning in various ways. But before we do, could I ask the Board of Unity of Venice to please stand so that everybody can see who you are? There you go. There you go. And up front here, originally the barefoot pastor, but now we have shoes on. Reverend Robin Ryder is the senior minister at Unity of Venice. Yes. And we have Leslie, and Leslie is the associate minister at Unity of Venice. And so we're well represented. And after we hung out yesterday, now we're saying we want to go to Unity of Venice. So one Sunday we'll just all pack up and drive over there, okay? Yeah. We'll coordinate that. That won't be anything challenging at all, will it? It'll just be just a few cars and off we go. But we had such a wonderful time yesterday, and I'm actually going to share an exercise with you today later that Robin created that we did yesterday to get to know ourselves a little bit better and each other, and it was really wonderful. So I couldn't resist sharing that with you today. But first, we're going to get ready for meditation. We're going to do it differently than we usually do today. Imagine that. And I know we're all going to just breathe and relax and move through that shift seamlessly. And then I'm going to ask Reverend Robin Ryder to come up and do our meditation this morning. She's going to share the meditation.
So let's drop into that sacred space of this now moment. Settle into your seats and close your eyes if you haven't already. Just breathe at a gentle pace. Our daily word spoke of surrender. And that beautiful song spoke of the same thing. That as we are in this now moment, we must be willing to let go of what we think we know or what we might want to control. We let go and let God be God in us. This now moment is where the kingdom of heaven resides. So we release any desire to try to predict and jump into the future or wallow back and try to change the past. Because all of that takes us out of God's divine kingdom of here and now. Our work is to let go of any thoughts or beliefs that are keeping us elsewhere. Because now is the truth. Now is God. Now is unconditional love, pure peace, and all good. In this now moment, we are whole, loved, safe, and fulfilled. And so we anchor into that. I invite us to take a moment to drop in to the silence and feel God's mighty presence lighting every cell in our being right here and right now in the silence. So we breathe and we set a clear intention to take this truth into our day. The kingdom of heaven is right here and right now. So we stay present, we stay open, we stay willing, and we stay worthy. For this is our destiny as children of God. I invite you to bring your energy back into the room. Maybe wiggle a toe, roll your shoulders, open your eyes when you're ready, and behold God's beautiful kingdom that is present right here and right now. And so it is. Amen.
Okay, we're done. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. And I don't know how many of you resonated as much with the statement, or maybe resonated isn't even as much the word. Maybe it's more need to hear occasionally the affirmation that I am never broken. Right? Now, I'll raise my hand and nobody else has to raise theirs, but have you ever felt broken? I know I have. I know there have been times that, we say, I will get down on my knees and I will pray. Well, there were some times there wasn't the choice of I will get down on my knees and I will pray. It's I have nowhere else I can be. I've been brought to my knees. And so there's something imperative, and apparently we're messing with the electricity this morning. There is something imperative for me, in the unity belief system, that it has been so life-saving for me and so affirming for me and so just absolutely critical to my life's journey of being able to say that no matter what happens, no matter how many times that I feel that I am brought to my knees, I am never broken. I'm never broken. In the truth of our being, in the truth, the capital T truth that runs underneath and through and inside of all things, we are these endless spirits. We are source. We are God in flow. And then we put on these bodysuits for a time and we decide to be this for a little while. And when I am this for a little while, my hands may be small, but my will can be endless. My power can be unstoppable. My potential is never ending. The possibility of the things that I can do if I will simply get out of my own way, get down on my knees and pray and open to the truth that runs underneath. That daily word today, surrender. It's very rare that one of mine is on a Sunday, but that's one of mine. So I get to... It's always so funny when I read it. I'm like, wow, that sounds really familiar. Oh, wait. 9 months ago, I wrote that. Yeah, so anyway, surrender is everything. this need, this want, this drive for us to control what's happening. It's unreality, and it's unnecessary. If we live in a life of surrendering to the flow of the divine in our lives and in the world around us, there's no need to control anything. There's simply this awareness of showing up open. Because here's the thing, I called today Seeing What We're Being. We spent time yesterday as the two boards of our two Unity centers. As I said, bonding and laughing and crying, but also really taking the time to look deeply at who and what we are. And it can be too easy to fall into the trap of thinking we are our roles, of thinking we are, I get to stand up on this platform as leader of Unity of Sebring, but I'm also standing here as follower of Unity of Sebring. I get to be a teacher, and I am always and ever a student. I'm a mom, and I'm a daughter. I am a widow, and I'm a girlfriend. I was just learning how to do the widow thing, and after going on 4 years as a widow, I kind of forgot what girlfriend is like because I had years and years of marriage before that. And so it's been a long time since I've been somebody's girl, as John likes to say. Yes, that's his name. I said his name. Uh-oh. He's going to like that, actually. So he's a snowbird. Some of you may or may not know that piece of it. And he was supposed to have left, in April, but he had to have a knee replacement. And so the next end date after physical therapy and everything else was he was supposed to leave 2.5 weeks ago. Then he was supposed to leave 2 weeks ago because he put it off. And then I was ready for that. And then he was going to leave 1 week ago because he postponed his leaving. And then this past Friday, I had told everybody, okay, he's leaving Friday. Tina and Marta set up for our Saturday event so that I could go spend my last day with John before he left. And so I show up and we're talking and I'm like, okay, so, all right, we got to get it all in today. We got to and he's like, well, about that. He's like, I just thought next Friday would be a better day to leave than this Friday. And see, the thing is, I have visits scheduled to go to Tennessee where he's going to be. I've already got the tickets bought and everything else, or we've got the tickets bought. And I told him, if you won't leave, I can't miss you. But there's this thing, right? So we have these roles, we have these pieces of our lives, these facets of our lives that we step into, and sometimes it takes us a while to find our footing, and sometimes we find this seamless footing really fast that we didn't expect. I expected I would find somebody to casually date. What I have apparently found is a partner of I don't know what length of time or what way this is going to work, but it's very, very clear by the seamlessness with which we have come together that there is a partnership here. And I don't know what that's going to look like. You guys will find out when I do. So, because you know how that goes. I'm always telling on myself. But the last few weeks, I haven't been ready to say anything about being in a relationship, but it keeps coming out of my mouth because you know that I'm like cellophane. I'm just transparent up here. And every time that it's come out of my mouth, I've been doing this weird backward dance from it, and it's been throwing my game off up here a little bit. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not telling you everything, but but I'm not going to do that anymore. So it is what it is. But that's a facet of my life, and that's a piece of beingness for me that is new and that I'm still fitting into and trying. He hasn't met my kids yet. I know you guys have told me a bunch of times you want to meet him. He's terrified of that prospect, I'm sure. But, because walking in here is a little bit different for him than anybody else. I toyed with the idea of having him walk in and not telling anyone who he is, but multiple people said, oh, that'll last about 5 minutes, because everybody will just watch you and know who he is. So probably when he comes back in November, everybody here will meet him, because he has to meet my kids first, Yeah. Yeah, right? He has to meet my kids first. And my grandkids are coming to stay with me all next week. And so he was supposed to be gone already, which is why I was having the week with my grandkids. And he said, well, your kitchen sink is loose. I think I need to fix something on your kitchen sink. Maybe I could come over in the middle of the week and meet your grandkids. And I said, my kids will kill me if you meet my grandkids before you meet. Yeah. So there's all this new stuff. But when we're seeing what we're being, when we're seeing how we're showing up to life and what it is that is happening when we're doing these dances of who we are, where we are, there's a few things that are pretty imperative to remember, at least for me. And they land in 5 principles, in Unity's 5 principles. We know that principle 1 is God is the allness. What we are in, what we are moving and living and having our being in, what we are breathing the very breath of God. You can't feel alone if you really integrate that belief. Every breath I breathe is the breath of God itself. I'm never alone. Principle 2 says that we are a part of that Godness. We aren't separate, and we're not part of it like a raisin in a bun. We are actual God stuff with a skin suit on. We show up differently when we believe that. I wanted to show you an illustration of that today that I've always enjoyed. I have too many things to do with you today because I just love all of this that we did yesterday. So, we know that if God is the allness, we'll use this illustration of this pitcher of water. God is the allness, and all things are contained within God. I've said it before, Unity has a panentheistic view of Godness. That means there's nothing outside of God. God is the container in which all things take place. So evil, we talked about, oh my gosh, we got into a meditation and we talked about evil this week in meditation, and that could have gone on for 6 hours. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about that, because how do we come to terms with horrors that happen, believing this, that it all happens inside of God? Well, there are so many people that have the illusion that they are disconnected from what God is. And in that disconnection, in that feeling of, I'm alone, I am isolated, nobody loves me, there is nothing here for me, we can do some pretty hideous things if our needs are not addressed, if our needs aren't known. Sometimes our needs aren't known even to ourselves. And so we can do things out of this desperate need for connection or belonging. But the truth of it is really different. The truth of it is that we are contained within God. We're these little individuations of Godness. So where we might see water, if I take just a second here, and you get patient with me for just a moment. It's all in the flow. Whoops, I feel some falling out. But what we are in reality are these little individuations within the allness of Godness. We've walked into little skin suits, if you will, but we're still in here. We're all within the oneness of Godness, and we are a part of that oneness. Each one of us an individuation, each one of us different from every other one on purpose. We are here to be exactly who we are, exactly what we have incarnated as, because there's nobody else here to show up exactly as we do. Let me make sure I've got all this out of here. Kind of a fun illustration, but this is what happens. This is principle 1 and principle 2. We are these individuations of Godness made of the same stuff that God is made of. There's no separation between us. We are a part of that allness. Principle 3, we are creating our lives by the things that we hold on to, by what we believe long enough and strong enough that we make visible, that we bring into existence. Principle 4, we go into prayer and meditation to connect, not because we're outside of anything, not because we actually are disconnected, but because our awareness has stepped away for a little bit. We're all in the energy of God. We are all a part of the energy of God. I've done this illustration for our people before, but I don't know if Unity of Venice has taken part in this before, and so this is something we're going to do, that at the end, during the peace song, we're all going to take part in this. But what it is I've got this energy that is a part of the allness of Godness, and I am a conduit for the movement of that Spirit of God, for the activity of God. What I do with my little hands and my little beingness and my surrender, when I surrender to the activity of God, it flows. It's allowed to be active. Oh, I'm kind of glad the thing didn't turn on. You guys have heard the sound that it makes. There we are. Spoke too soon. Oh well. So as we connect, as we allow the flow, the movement can happen, right? A lot of the times the issues that happen in our lives are us pulling away from the flow or clinging to that notion of separateness, or that I don't have what I need, or that I'm not enough. And when we do, we get in the way of that flow. Now the cool thing is, one of the cool things, there's a million cool things, but one of the cool things is, so I can do this on my own, but as I connect with somebody else, Cassandra, would you do this with me? Yes, so you and I are going to hold hands, and yeah, you want to stand up. And then if you connect on the silver part, so now my energy is running through Cassandra and her energy is running through me. And together, oh, thank you. Together, we are moving the activity of God and Spirit because we are connecting. All right, now we can let go. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. So at the end, when we circle up for the peace song, we're going to do this. And now the last time we did it, I know Paul in the back and a couple people thought it was really funny to let go of hands. I get it, but we will. So I will give you the mommy eyeballs or eyebrows if you do that. So yes, so we'll do that in the end. We'll do that. We'll do that at the peace song. But we are in that flow. The only thing that's ever absent is our awareness of the fact that we're in it. It's what are we? What do we feel that we are? We were talking yesterday about the fact that, or I was talking with one of the members of the board yesterday about the fact that we are called a life enrichment center, not a church. And I never think much about that because I know a lot of unities do not embrace the word church. We are, unity is Christian-based, yes. Unity is Christian and, my favorite word, and, where's my and? There's my and. My favorite word, my power word, and. So it's Christian and. Unity embraces the truth in all traditions. That where we find truth, we grab onto that truth and we hold it and nurture it and move it forward. And so in this congregation, whether they're in here in person this morning or whether they are in their jammies at home, comfy, eating pasta salad, which is what I would probably be doing right now if I were home watching, but wherever we might be, and hi, Elizabeth. Yes, Mel told me, so you'll see this later, but okay. So anyway, now I got to say hi to everybody. No, I'm sorry. I love all of you. All of you. So I just completely derailed myself. Aren't I good at that? Aren't I good at that? Yeah, but yeah, how unusual. My goodness. We're doing something new today. As we are allowing ourselves to be My people are laughing way too hard at that. Yes. We are, thank you, Mel. We are a life enrichment center, and many Unities are spiritual centers because right now, and Hippie may be watching at home, hi Hippie, we have, Hippie says he worships the old gods. We have pagans here, we have agnostics here, we have Buddhists here, we have people who are followers of Judaism, we have Taoists, we have so many different walks. We have people who consider themselves Christian. And we like to be more than what the box of a church would be for our community, for ourselves, and for our world. We want to step outside of that box of church and step into a life enrichment center where people who would never walk through those doors walk in here and say, oh my gosh, I found home. That's one of the beauties of Unity, because we embrace those universal truths. So we want it to be the allness. And I'm so glad I wrote this down, because I would have forgotten it otherwise. Early we were talking about kingdom, and Robin even did it in her meditation, talking about the kingdom of heaven. I have a little homework assignment for all of us that I actually had as an actual homework assignment this week in our discussing our perceptions of things. One of my instructors this week said, I would like you, whenever you see the word kingdom in the Bible or in biblical texts, to replace it with the word consciousness. So when we are, or to expand it into the word of consciousness. So when you are talking about the kingdom of heaven being at hand, being the keys to the kingdom, the fruits of the Spirit, when we are talking about any of those things, we are talking about the consciousness of heaven, the consciousness of Godness, the consciousness, the awareness that we are in it, that we are carrying it with us. So that kingdom is, yes, at hand, because it's here, it's in our consciousness. We're creating it. I think Mike and I were talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was right now, about, heaven and hell, and what does Unity believe about heaven and hell, and does it exist and everything. And, heaven and hell is right here, right now. I was talking with someone this morning here that I think was feeling like they were in hell a little bit. A couple days ago, went through a period in the middle of the day, felt pretty hellish to me. We are carrying the kingdom, the consciousness of heaven and hell within us. It is our choice what we do with who we feel we are, with what we feel we are. We're God in little skin suits. Now that doesn't mean, and again, Mike and I have talked about this multiple times, it's still a little uncomfortable to go, I am God. Feels really egotistical and prickly to me to say something like that, or way beyond me. I can more grasp God is in me. I contain my own individuation of Godness, and I am expressing my Godness to the very best of my ability at any moment. One of the ways that I express my Godness to the best of my ability is to kind of know what my needs are and know where I'm at and know myself. It says over and over again how we need to know thyself. That's the power, that's the key to so many things, and so much of our learning is we got to know about ourselves and what we're being and what we're doing. I went through a hefty share of guilt, because when I stepped up into this new relationship, I am showing up in relationship with John in ways that I have never shown up in relationship. And I felt really guilty about not being able to be with my late husband as expansively as I can be with John today. That didn't feel real good for a little while, because I felt like I somehow gypped my husband. We are who we are in any given moment, not what we are. We are always God in skin. We are always the divine expressing as this individual expression. Always. We are always in God, and in our humanness, in our dualistic nature of that human and spiritual, we are always growing and evolving. I wasn't this Trish 3.5 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 10 years ago. I wasn't this Trish. So I would encourage all of you, especially after as much as I've tortured myself over the last couple months here, to allow yourself to be yourself now. And instead of guilting yourself about something you've done in your past or somebody you've been in your past that didn't know as much as you do now, maybe thank them for holding that space, for growing as much as they grew, so that you can now grow as much as you can grow. We all have these parts of ourselves that have done things we're very proud of and things we hope to God never surface. Right? And so that's all in here. Don't alienate those parts of ourselves that fell down more than we do today. Love them. Thank them for having gone through what they went through so that you can be this you right now. Right? Yeah. So I wanted to share in closing today. I had so much more to do, but whatever. I wanted to share with you today it's a needs-centered type. I don't know if you guys have ever done like the Myers-Briggs, so we know what Myers-Briggs personality type we are. We know, Strengths Finder. There's all these different kinds of assessments that tell us a lot about who we are and how we show up in the world, and they can be really helpful. The Enneagram. Some of us have done the Enneagram. We've done all of these things. Now, the power in these tools, the gift in these tools, is not to say, oh, well, I'm this, so I can never grow past it. I've shared with you before that my son is on the autism spectrum. He has Asperger's syndrome. And of course, now there are newer, more politically correct terms for that. He knows what he knows, and Asperger's is it. When we found that diagnosis, we had so many people come up to us and say, oh, I wish you hadn't have done that. I wish you hadn't have gone and gotten him diagnosed, because now for the rest of your life, you're just going to pigeonhole him as autistic. It was exactly the opposite for us. So many things made so much sense that I had struggled with or fought with, they just made sense now, because I understood that the wiring was a little different, and they're power tools for him now, because we spent a lot of time working with those things that are difficult for people with autism, like social cues and things like that. We worked with those things a lot, and we worked with tools that would help him to know when something was being triggered because of his wiring, instead of being triggered for everybody else in the room too. So Robin put together this beautiful assessment tool that you can take. Now, normally we would do this together, and normally you would have a reveal after you answer your questions, where I would get to just tell you all about who you were because of what you answered and everything. I'm going to have to trust you not to flip this piece of paper over. Because in essence, the answers are on the back. So you don't want to look at the back of this paper if you choose to take one of these. You don't want to look on the back before you answer the questions on the front. Okay? So here's the guidelines. You're going to see as you go through this, there's different colors of words on here. Ignore that. What you're going to do is you're going to get to the questions. You're going to read each question. Now, you're probably going to want to do this later when you have a chance to chill and be in your comfy environment. And but what you don't want to like sit and agonize over these answers, because some of these questions you're going to get and you're going to be like, well, I don't know, kind of this one and kind of that one. I think I'm just like this, but maybe don't do that. Top ahead, whatever feels right for you, just write it out. Okay? What you're going to be doing is, in each question, there are 4 possible answers underneath it. And you're going to rate yourself from 4 to 1. The instructions are up the top if you forget what I say. 4 is the most. So if there's something that is the most you, that's 4. A little less, that's 3. A little less, that's 2. Not really that much or at all, that's 1. So each one, 4 to 1. Just put down your answers. When you get to the bottom, you're going to add up, whoa, microphone, yeah. You're going to add up each number, or each color, sorry. You're going to add up, there's blue, there's red, there's black, and there's green. Yes. And I'm looking at the first one, and I don't see, ooh, green didn't show up very well. Darn it, see, Robin, for you it was blue, for me it was green. All right, you're really going to have to look and make sure you can look at these colors when you do this. The green is slightly blackish. My apologies. And if you have trouble with it, I can redo it and email it to you. So you can just let me know and send an email. But so what you'll do is you'll answer, you'll add up your numbers, you'll circle the highest number, and then and only then will you turn it over to the back of the piece of paper. And you will get to see on there kind of what your needs are as who you show up as, not what you show up as. You are God in skin. You are limitless. This is simply a tool to give you a little indicator of things that might work better for you than others. If you know what needs of yours are forefront for you, you'll understand some of the conflicts in your life. You'll get to see as you go through these, if you're a person in a partnership, you might be able to peg your partner. And that will help lend to understanding of how to meet your needs, how to meet someone else's needs, and how to be able to express a little more of the Godness within. All right, so if you'd like, you can take one of those. You definitely do not have to. And if you'd rather I email it to you, then just wait. You know, my cards are back there. If you don't already have my cell phone or my email, just email me and I'll email it to you. These are tools to figure out who we are being when we show up in this world, to get a little better understanding for why we feel weaker in a certain role and stronger in another. They're simply little indicators. We are limitless. We are creating using those 5 principles in prayer, in meditation, in our belief system, and then that principle 5, we take inspired actions once we remember that God is the allness. We are a part of that Godness. Our thoughts and beliefs that we hold long enough and strong enough are creating the life that we are living, that we always and ever can connect in prayer and meditation with the Spirit of God, of our understanding. And then once we have done that, we take those inspired actions, create our lives, show up as new and improved every single day that we take breath. I thank you all for being here this morning, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.